Hi there, my name is Louise Stevens. I'm the creator of Live What You Love Business Coaching, and today I am the host of a webinar with the amazing Leila Field from Complete Body Harmony based in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. Now, first and foremost, both Leila and I would like to extend our sincere apologies that our live webinar has unfortunately had to turn into a recorded version. We jumped on to conduct our live webinar, but Facebook Live video just wasn't playing with us, so we had to resort to having a recorded conversation instead. However, do not fret, the content is amazing. And I can also let you know, if you've got any questions for Leila, please go ahead, comment them below so that she can get back to you as soon as she can. If you're not feeling too confident or your challenge is personal that you'd like to talk to Leila about, you'll also find below the link to her website where you can contact her directly. Or, of course, if you can't work that out, just send me a message to this page and I'll be able to give you her details so that you can get in touch. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to the amazing Leila Field, as I mentioned, from Complete Body Harmony in Hobart, Tasmania in Australia. Leila is a biochemic medicine practitioner and a Bowen therapist. She's going to share with you today her own health challenges, how she came across Bowen Therapy and why she said yes, how to having just one Bowen Therapy session helped her remove some of the challenges she was having both mentally and physically, and inspired her to go on and train as a Bowen therapist and of course teach others how they too can holistically take charge of healing their own personal experiences. So enough from me, let's get started. I'm really excited, Leila. Thank you so much for joining me today. Obviously, this is not a live webinar like we had planned. Technology's got other things in store. So thank you for taking the time to join me for this recording. Before we get started and I share with everyone who you are, I really just want to let everyone know in advance that, we were planning to have a live kind of question and answers part through this video. However, obviously that's a little bit more challenging because no one's watching this live. So if you do have any questions, please make sure that you comment them below so that Leila can get back to you. Or if you don't want to put them in the thread, you're always welcome to message either one of us, and we will make sure that that question gets answered for you. Anyway, admin side of things out of the way, everyone, this is Leila. I'm really excited. Leila is a good friend of mine. She's a previous client, and and I'm really excited to discover more about not only your journey today, but also Bowen Therapy and how it has helped change your life. So my understanding is that you are a holistic medicine practitioner, and the two services that are your main offering are biochemic medicine and Bowen therapy. So throughout this conversation today, you're going to have to explain a little bit more around what they are. But before getting into that, I'd love, to hand it over to you and say hi and tell us a little bit about you.
Thanks, Lou. Yes, so my name is Leila, and it is mispronounced all the time. I learnt and found Bowen Therapy when I was 19, 20. I had some mental health problems, and a family friend had suggested that I see this lady who did Bowen Therapy. I had never heard of Bowen Therapy before in my life. I didn't even really know that natural therapies existed. But I went anyway. So I don't know why, but obviously we like to listen to other people's recommendations. So I went. I had one treatment and I got off the table and I looked at her and I just said, I need to learn this. And I felt great. I was so calm. And I had an anxiety disorder. I was on medication, and it was the first thing that actually helped me. And so I went and learnt it. And that's, I guess, where I started.
Awesome. Thanks. So when you say mental health challenges, your main challenge was anxiety and not being able to find a way to be able to, I guess, discover and understand more about that was and help you cope with it?
Yeah, so I had quite severe panic attacks from work and home, and just kind of everything going wrong at once, and not really having the tools to, I guess, support myself. I didn't really know how to calm myself down or And the medication didn't really seem to do much. It kept me level, but it didn't really stop any of what was happening in my body.
Yeah. Okay. So you listened to some advice or some recommendations and you went in and you had a treatment. And as you mentioned, after the first one, it really impacted you and you've gone on to learn it. So share with us a little bit more around that. Like, for those out there who have never heard of Bowen Therapy, like, what is it and how do you go about learning about it?
Yeah, great question. I'll answer the second part first. So learning it, we used to have a trainer in Tasmania. She no longer trains. Occasionally they will send people from the mainland. I guess that's a typical Tasmanian thing. We often miss out on a lot of stuff because we are so far away. But I have travelled to the mainland a few times and done continuing education and stuff like that. It's a great excuse for a holiday. The first part of that question, Bowen Therapy is a gentle hands-on technique. So it helps to release the muscle fascia, increase your blood flow and things like that to actually reset the nervous system. So the changes that I make in somebody's body is actually just resetting your own healing abilities. If you fall over and scrape your knee, your body knows what to do. You don't need to take a bunch of medications or anything like that to heal. Your body already knows. So all I'm doing is help to, I guess, reprogram what's going on in the body and make sure that the messages are getting from the brain to the muscles correctly.
Cool. Perfect. So is it like a massage? Is it like kinesiology? Is it like yoga? Like, what would be a typical consultation with you?
So we go through a lot of history, and often I've found the weirdest thing I found when I first went for my Bowen treatment was she asked me so many questions that seemed really irrelevant. I was like, well, why do you need to know that? But everything is connected. So the Bowen Therapy is a hands-on technique. So it's not massage. You don't manipulate anything. The way that I typically like to explain it to people is I find massage is an argument with the body where you're forcing the muscle saying, I am going to help you. Whereas Bowen's a conversation saying, hey, this muscle's a bit tight, don't you think? Maybe you could let that go now. So it's just gentle moves in particular spots to reset the body. And in between each set of moves, we leave about a 2-minute wait. So that 2-minute wait is to help make sure that the brain and the muscle that we're working on actually gets the message and can correct whatever's going on there.
Interesting. So you started this journey because of your mental health challenges, and I'm going to assume that it's not only people with some mental health challenges that come and see you. So, like, what, I guess, what, I don't really like to say problems, but what challenges do people face, we know, when they come and see you for their first time? Like, what is it that presents?
So one of the other things that I had when I went to see the Bowen therapist the first time, which I didn't even realise, like I said, everything's connected, was a problem, was I was doing admin at the time. And I actually had quite a bit of pain in my elbow. Obviously, I was way too focused on all my mental stuff. I didn't even realise that that was a thing. Obviously, admin stuff, doing data entry, so typing a lot, and the pain in my elbow and shoulder as well. At the end of that treatment, that was also gone. So physical ailments as well. So the emotional is the nervous system calms down, your body's better able to process things. But physically, if the muscle is too tight or you've injured yourself, the messages to the brain start to compensate. So if you sprain your ankle, you put all your weight on your other leg, for example. But then the brain doesn't realise the injury's gone and that other leg is still really, really tight. So it just helps to release that off and create balance within your body so that it works correctly.
Thanks. Now, you and I often talk about jaw problems, and that is a problem that a lot of your clients present to you with. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, so I started learning ketogenics last year. It's something that I really enjoyed, but it's not something that I practice at this stage. But within that, I learnt a lot more about the jaw. So in Bowen, we have a particular jaw sequence. And I did have one client at one stage presenting with back problems, and I did everything I could, and it wasn't until I did her jaw that her back actually came right. And I thought that was incredible. Then when I went to the kinetics course, I learnt that 90% of the muscles in the rest of your body can be switched off by the muscles in your face. So if you think about all the muscles here, there's a really, really big one here called the temporalis, there we go. And if that's really tight, the messages from the brain can't get through to contract or release a muscle or tell it what to do. Because obviously, even this, I tend to talk with my hands. The brain's telling me to do that. If the messages can't get through, the brain can't actually know what's going on. So if we clench our teeth, grind our teeth, which are all typical stress responses, then the muscles get really tight and it interrupts what's going on in the rest of the body.
So if I was experiencing migraines, because my understanding, and I'm not anywhere in line with your profession or your superpower, but predominantly if we're clenching our jaws through stress, that can cause a lot of people getting really bad migraines. Is that an assumption that is probably accurate?
It can be. There are so many factors. I was talking to a girl the other day and it was like, well, there's 6 or 7 things it could be, but I need to do and that's where the history comes in. It's like, okay, well, what are you doing? What do you do for work? Do you lift anything funny? Are you really stressed? There's so many other factors. So one of the things that can cause migraines is obviously clenching. The other thing, and if I actually show you, when you clench your jaw, these muscles all activate. Mm-hmm. And so you end up with sort of neck and all those sorts of pains as well. Another thing that can cause migraines is mineral deficiency. So biochemic medicine is another thing that I offer. And that could be magnesium, which can cause cramps, but it could also be calcium. But that is also another conversation about how does that work in your body, which one isn't actually working correctly. But then it could also be something to do with your tailbone. So if you've ever had a serious fall on your tailbone or anything in that kind of area, then that can cause migraines as well, which is why women typically around their periods can get more migraines, because that kind of area can trigger it. So it's so individual in every person, but I guess that's another little snapshot about how everything is connected.
Yeah, wow. So I guess, from hearing more about your profession, there's really not one thing that, I could come to you and say, I've got this and, can Bowen Therapy help me? The answer could be yes, but you really don't know until you've gone through that entire history, as you were saying, through that pre-consultation to know potentially why that problem or why that pain is coming up in the body based on that past history, which is quite fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why doing the history and all the random questions about, what's going on in your life in general, or if you are a horse rider, for example, because that's going to impact tailbones. So all those random questions that seem completely irrelevant are very important.
Yeah, great. That's awesome. What a great insight into both I'm going to say biomedicine, is that right? Biochemic
Yep.
medicine and Bowen Therapy in a whole. So just to touch on the biochemic medicine side, so that side of it is around the minerals, is that correct?
Yeah, so there's 12 base minerals that your body absolutely has to function, and most people have heard of magnesium, calcium, potassium, and sodium, and iron. I was like, hang on. So there's 12 of those minerals that are absolutely vital for the body to function. Magnesium alone has over 300 functions that it assists with in your body. So if that's deficient, you can imagine there's 300 things in your body that aren't working the way that they should be. It's absolutely incredible to look at, and I've had some great results with treating people just using the minerals as well. So
fascinating. So if I was someone watching this and I was, my body was presenting a problem to me, or I thought that, I'm going to go along and try Bowen Therapy as a recommendation, a little bit like you. I don't know why I'm going, but I'm going to go and see what this is all about.
See what happens.
I guess, would there be anyone watching this where you would be able to kind of share a little bit of insight into who Bowen Therapy could be for? Because it's quite a different technique. I don't think a lot of people have heard of Bowen Therapy. So who would it be great for?
It's honestly great for anybody from infants to the elderly, because it is such a gentle technique. People often explain it that it feels like you're not doing anything at all, but they get off the table and the pain's gone. So it is such a gentle and subtle technique that people, I guess, who are used to, a shiatsu or something like that, might not necessarily think it's doing anything, but then your mindset starts to come into it. So with the emotional side of things, resetting your nervous system if you think something's not going to help you, chances are you're going to find every reason that it didn't. So you need to go in with an open mind. Just go in, have your consultation with no expectations would be my recommendation, because then that way you're going to get more out of it. Don't think that just because you don't feel much that it's not doing anything, because it definitely is.
Cool. I actually just remembered through that I have had one. Obviously, I've got a good friend who does Bowen as well. So I have had one treatment of Bowen, and the emotional release after. So I can only talk from my experience. I don't know what everyone else experiences, but I personally found quite an emotional release after, and I guess it was more of I felt like a lighter feeling. Do a lot of people have emotional releases, or is that just kind of depending on the person?
Yeah, it definitely depends on the person. I know myself personally, when I go through my little mental health sections, I had some breathing problems. So anxiety, obviously, it's constricted chest, can't breathe. And a lady did Bowen on me, and we do the respiratory procedure, which is on the back of your lungs. So if you can't breathe or having anxiety, panic attacks, your lungs kind of jam up a little bit. And in that treatment, I actually cried when she did my lungs. It didn't hurt. It wasn't anything like that, but it was that emotional release that my body just needed to get out. And I felt incredible afterwards. So crying, laughing, weird muscle twitches, like it all happens on my table. But you can't be sure what's going to happen. You're not necessarily going to cry. I think I've only made one person cry, but not necessarily my fault. It's just their healing journey. So it's very difficult to actually say what you might experience, because it's so different every time. And it depends on, are you really stressed when you walk in the door? Are you pretty chill and you've just got a sore shoulder, I guess.
Yeah, cool. And I guess mindful of the time, I know that you've got to get to a client shortly, but what do you love most about what you do?
Oh, good question. I honestly love helping people. So knowing that I have a client shortly fuels me. And occasionally, if I have some time off, I can forget about it, or I forget that I know so much. So I had a client last week and we were talking about the jaw and how that all works. And I kind of went, oh, I actually know a lot of stuff. So I love actually giving that information to people, because I'm so immersed in it. I have a lot of friends who are practitioners and beauty therapists and things like that. And it's just great to be able to talk to my clients about, if you're immersed in stuff, you forget that other people don't know. And it's just kind of, you think it's common knowledge. I was talking to somebody about magnesium the other day and I was like, oh, I haven't taken my supplements for a few days. And she's like, oh, me either. And this is another practitioner. And we're like, oh, no wonder I'm not feeling all that great. Like, it's just something that everyone does, but it's great to remind them. So when my clients come in as well, often I find it's reflective of something that's going on in my life. So I'll be like, have you drunk much water today? And I'm like, oh, have I drunk much water today? And it's a really good little, I love doing that. And I love the connection with my clients, and we laugh and we talk about our lives and their kids and all those sorts of things. And I feel like just that emotional friendship, client friendship, it actually helps them a lot as well.
Awesome. Fantastic. Like, I love that. And the energy that you have when you talk about your clients and what you do is absolutely beautiful. So talking about, thinking about your clients. So you are based down in Hobart, in the Central Mall. Look, tell us about where you are.
So I'm just in West Hobart. So it's fairly close to the city centre, but it's really easy to get to. Free parking, which is amazing. There is a place that I quite like in the Hobart city centre, but you walk out straight into the bus mall and I just feel instantly stressed as soon as I leave there. So I don't go. So it's in West Hobart. It's nice and easy to find, really easy to get to. There's a coffee shop across the road that I've probably spent a little bit too much time in. And so it's a really great little space. And I work with several other practitioners. So between all of us, we've pretty well got everyone covered.
Awesome, that's great. And if I'm not based in Hobart, I know that you can also help people remotely. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do remotely and how you can help people and who you can help?
Of course. So I can jump on Zoom calls or phone calls and talk through the biochemical medicine. So Bowen Therapy is a little bit harder. I can't see what's out in your body. But with the biochemical medicine, you can tell me what you're eating, what your symptoms are and things like that. So we can actually go through all of that and we can try and figure out what's actually going on in your body just by doing a call like this.
Cool. Perfect. So if I was based, we'll talk about these two different people. If I was based in Hobart and I wanted to come in and have a consultation with you, put my big girl pants on and go find out what this is all about, how would I go about connecting with you? How do I book in an appointment, and how long does it go for, and what do you need from me at that point in time?
So it depends on what treatment you want, but Bowen Therapy typically is about an hour. And you can either comment on this video, or if you book online via my business page, which is really easy, or just give me a call or send me a message. I'm pretty flexible and I'm more than happy to find a space for anybody willing to give it a go.
Awesome. I'll make sure that in the link of this I put your details as well so that people can find that easily, like your website. Now for the biochemic medicine, and I'm wanting to have a Zoom call because I live remotely, how do I go about getting in touch with you for that?
So you can do exactly the same thing. So in my booking link, there are several options for different services, and one of those are a free 15-minute call. So I offer that to people just to have a talk and see what's actually going on, and whether we need to do a full consult or not. So it's really simple, and within that 15-minute call, then we can discuss doing a full treatment, or depending on, what's going on in your body, we might even be able to get it solved in that 15 minutes.
Oh, fantastic. What a way to, or what a great complimentary offer for those that have never heard about biochemic medicine before, or, just wanting to find out more about it. Like, that's really exciting. So great. Thank you for offering that for everyone. And guess one other final thing, I know that you've recently introduced some packages to your business. So for those that may be a little bit more familiar with Bowen Therapy or biochemic medicine, and they're looking for a deluxe opportunity, can you share with us a little bit about the packages that you've currently got available?
Sure can. So the first one is Bowen Therapy. It is also a 12-minute correction for your jaw. So this correction is called Balancing Nutrition and Toxicity, or BNT, and it helps to correct your jaw so that your body is absorbing your minerals correctly. Because even if I send you home to take magnesium or whatever else, your body might not necessarily use it correctly. So the BNT actually makes sure your body is absorbing your minerals the way that it needs to. It is also a detox foot spa. So this foot spa is TGA approved, so it is a registered medical device, and it helps to get the toxins out of your body. So obviously that's what your liver and kidneys and stuff do. But if you're constantly eating bad food, or you're overloaded, or I actually have a gene mutation, which means my body doesn't break down toxins very well, then it can actually get rid of some of that as well. So it's, and a consult. So the detox foot spa, Bowen Therapy, and the BNT, it's 90-minute treatment, and you can book that in the booking link as well. The other package that I offer is actually an Aroma Touch package. So Aroma Touch is an essential oil, basically a massage. I'm not technically allowed to market it as a massage because I'm not trained as a massage therapist, but it is a technique that you do across the back and either hands or feet using essential oils, and it's so relaxing. I was actually drooling the first time I had mine done. And often I make my clients sit for 10 minutes before they leave because they're a little bit not woozy is not probably the right word, but just can't even think of a word. But I just, zen. Let's go with zen.
I love zen.
So the Aroma Touch package, which goes for an hour and 15 minutes, is the Aroma Touch treatment, consult, and a roller blend, which is made up with essential oils to boost your immune system.
Awesome. These sound absolutely amazing. And although I'm in little old New Zealand, I'm going to have to make my way to Hobart at some point to test some of these amazing techniques out and all these amazing learnings. So Leila, I know that you've got to get going. So again, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. As I mentioned earlier, well, not too long ago, I will put the link of your website in the thread of this video so that people can contact you quite easily. And of course, if anyone has any questions, please make sure you go down below as well and ask any questions that you've got. I'm sure Leila will be happy to answer them for you, or of course just send her a message on either her business page or on her website, or whatever's kind of going to suit you. Otherwise, I've loved learning more about Bowen Therapy. I'm combining the two that you're doing, Bowen Therapy and your biochemic medicine, because it's really fascinating, and I love hearing more about what you do, to help people's bodies and help people's minds, and ultimately, I guess, their general health and well-being holistically. So thank you for spending some time with me today. I am truly, truly grateful, and I will let you get going, see your client, and have a great afternoon.
Perfect. Thanks so much for spending time with me.
Thanks so much, Leila.
Bye.